Hey y'all, it's just Jennifer. Thank you for joining me for another Book Tuesday. I'm excited to be here again and talk about some more books that I've read and that I hope to read soon. Now last week I had like a pile of books to show y'all because I had gotten kind of behind on some of the books from the library, and I've actually managed to dwindle it down a little bit, and I'm really excited about that. I only managed to get a few books read in this past week because this past week has been super crazy. But I did break from my romantic suspense trend that I had going that I talked about last week. I read a contemporary romance with zero suspense in it. So that was good. I love romantic suspense a lot, but sometimes you need a break from the danger and the dead bodies and the mystery. So let me start with a love-inspired book that I read. And I mentioned last week, one of the reasons that I love love-inspired books is they were the first books to make me realize that you could read a romance and come out with a thought to chew on, especially when it comes to your relationship with God. And that is what made me want to write Christian romance. So this book that I read is called Wilderness Peril. I can't even pronounce words. Wilderness Peril by Elizabeth Goddard, and it was really good. It's about an airplane mechanic and an airplane pilot who go to Alaska to repossess a plane, and the pilot's brother that they were supposed to meet there is missing, and then our hero and heroine get kidnapped, and they have to try to escape. So it was really good. It definitely kept me turning pages. I really wanted to see what happened and kind of what was going on, because even the characters were a little bit confused for a while, how everything fit together and why they were kidnapped in the first place. And so it was really good and it was very intriguing. And I looked, and a lot of these love-inspired books, even though they were published a while back, like this one was published in 2013, you may not be able to find them in stores. I found this one at the library, but they're also on Amazon Kindle if you want to check them out. And Elizabeth Goddard also has full-length novels. She has a trilogy that just finished. Her last book just came out, I think, like a few months ago, and it was really good. I highly recommend that you go take a look at her books. That one featured 3 brothers, and it was amazing. Like, I loved all 3 of those books. Alright, so the next one that I read was Just a Kiss by Denise. This is the end of a trilogy, which also features 3 brothers. And I started reading them earlier this year. And if you remember last week, I mentioned that the reason I was interested in the series is because I watched a Hallmark movie that was based on book 2. And as usual, the book was much better. But this book was really good. I started reading it Friday night. And I told myself I was going to read a little bit and go to bed. That was a lie. But that's what happens when I break my rule and start a new book after 9 p.m. But I ended up staying up until 4 o'clock in the morning just to finish this book. It was really good. It was a perfect end to her series because she had been teasing Paige and Riley for quite some time. And I was really excited to get to see their story and to see how they were going to end up together. So I do recommend this one for you if you like contemporary romance. Now another book I finished reading, I have it on a Kindle. I don't think it's going to show up. You know what? I'm going to try it. But I got to get a book from NetGalley to review. And it is a novella collection. And it's called Joy to the World. And it's a Regency Christmas collection. Now this has already come out. You can go and find it on like Amazon or bookshop.org. Here, let's see if I can show you the cover of this. It's not shown up really well, but it's really pretty. And it has stories by Carolyn Miller, Amanda Barratt, and Erica Vetsch. And the reason why I was super excited to read and review this novella collection is because I have become a huge fan of Erica Vetsch. If you have read The Lost Lieutenant and The Gentleman's Spy, then you want to get your hands on this collection. Because in The Gentleman's Spy, you know, you're introduced to Marcus's sister-in-law, Scylla. Well, that's who this novella is about. It's about Scylla. In The Gentleman's Spy, you meet her, she's a widow. And in this book, she ends up finding love again. And it was a really great story. The other two were really good as well. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I've never read anything by Carolyn Miller before. I know she writes Regency, but I hadn't read her yet. But based on this novella, I'm definitely going to give her a try because I really liked it. Now, Amanda Barratt, I've read a few of her novellas. I know she has a book that recently came out, I think maybe like this summer. I just hadn't read it yet. I've mostly read her novellas in novella collections. And some of them I really liked, and other ones I just felt like were okay. But the one in here, y'all, is so good, it's so poignant, and beautifully written. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I highly recommend that you check this out. Because if you're like me, you're probably already ready for Christmas anyway. So you might as well just go ahead and give it and read it. Now today, I started this book, Hidden Peril. Or Peril. Why can I not say that word? I can't say that word for some. Hidden Peril by Irene Hannon. This is the second in a series. The first one, Buried Secrets, is on Kindle Unlimited. And that's how I read it. And then I managed to get this one from the library. But it's a trilogy. And it's about these three friends. They call themselves the Treehouse Gang. And they had made a pact when they were younger to make the world a better place. So the first one is about Colin, and he is a police detective. This one is about Kristen, and she runs a fair trade shop. And everyone connected to the shop, well, not everyone, but several people connected to the shop are found dead. And there's some suspicion and intrigue. I have only made it to the second chapter, because like I said, I just started it today. I started it like an hour ago, because I had a few moments to spare to sit down and read. But Irene Hannon always manages to keep me turning pages. The first romance suspense novel by her that I read, I also broke my rule about starting a book after 9 p.m. and paid for it because I could not put it down and stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning to find out what happened. And that book was really good. It was called Vanished. And it was about a woman who is in a car wreck and she accidentally hits a pedestrian on the street. It's like a really stormy night and she doesn't manage to brake in time. And a good Samaritan stops to help her and then she passes out. But when she wakes up, there's no one there. There's no sign that she hit anyone. There's no sign of the Good Samaritan. But she knows that something happened and she ends up going to a private detective agency to get them to look into it. And it was really good. So if you love romantic suspense, I highly recommend Irene Hannon. She also writes contemporary romance, and that's what I found very intriguing about her. And I've read both her contemporary romances and her romantic suspense. So far, though, I've only read 2 of her contemporary romances. They were both part of the Hope Harbor series. One of them was Driftwood Bay, and which is toward the end of her. I think she just released a new Hope Harbor book, I think, or it's fixing to come out. The other one I read was Hope Harbor, which is the first book, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, I highly recommend that you go check Irene Hannon out because she is very, very good. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that today is the book birthday for a Magnolia Mistletoe by Lindsey P. Brackett. It is a Christmas novella. I got to read it before it was published. And I didn't end up doing a review on the blog for it, and I should have. But it's a really good book. It's kind of like Hallmark. So if you love Hallmark Christmas movies, you will love Magnolia Mistletoe. And it's set on the beach. I mean, who doesn't love a good beach read? And it's set during Christmas. If you've read Lindsey Brackett's debut Still Waters or her sophomore novel, The Bridge Between, Magnolia Mistletoe is like right in the middle. It features Cora Ann's cousin Hannah and Tennessee's best friend Ben. So it's really good and it's really sweet, and I highly recommend that you go and check it out. So that's all that I have for you today. Be sure to tune into the blog this Friday because I will have a review on that Christmas Regency collection, and I will share a little bit more of my thoughts for that. But like I said, it's already out. If you want to go purchase it, you can purchase it on Kindle and on bookshop.org. And if you don't know what bookshop.org, it's a website that supports independent bookstores, and you can actually order a book from there and choose the independent bookstore that you want to support. It's a little bit different than, ordering it from Amazon, because while Amazon is convenient because they will ship the books to you, it is a huge corporation. So this is still a way that you can still support independent bookstores while also having the books delivered to you, which is always really nice. But I hope that you have a great week. Join me on Thursday for Just a Thought Thursday, where I will share a short devotion. If you missed this past Thursday's devotion, you can always just scroll down my timeline and you should be able to find it. But I hope that y'all have a great week, and I will see you Thursday.